Welcome to Type Talks. Today we have 4 ISTPs, and I'll let them introduce themselves. So Binyamin, would you like to tell us a bit about yourself?
No. Oh, should I? You asked if I wanted to. All right. Yeah, my name is Binyamin. I have a YouTube channel. I got into typology because my dad typed me when I was 8. And what else? I like music, and I don't know.
Cool. Yeah. Binyamin has like a secret music channel that I discovered recently, where you're like playing a ukulele. It's beautiful.
It's not it's a toy store guitar. I got it from my daughter. Yeah.
Oh, that's so great.
I don't have like a real guitar. I just got that little thing and then started writing music.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's adorable. And so Klaus, would you like to give us a few words about yourself?
Yes, I always struggle with that because I have so many interests and I struggle to narrow it all down to mention just 1 or 2 things. So I also like music a lot. So I follow about 20 music blogs and do a playlist every month of the songs that I really like. I'm also very much into sports. I'm a big sports fan. I love traveling. So at the moment I combine the two. I'm in Belgrade in Serbia currently for a tennis tournament. Because of Corona, there's only exhibitions, and yeah, I'm earning a little bit of money on the side with sports trading from Serbia. So
that's great. Yeah, Klaus, you travel to a lot of places. You're a very worldly guy. And so, Mara, would you like to tell us a bit about yourself?
I'm with Binyamin. This is always like the worst question they asked on the first day of college. Let's see, I got into typology when I was probably a teenager in order to understand people better. Otherwise, I have no like professional connection to it, I guess. I'm more into IT professionally, but I don't.
Yeah, and cool. Mara also has a website called Practical Typing, and it's really great. I'll link it in the description below, and I'll have everyone's links below too. And it's one of my favorite typology sites, and you should go check it out. She's an ISTP, and she writes with an ISTJ, and so there are sensors in the community that really contribute to type, and I would highly, highly recommend you check out the links below. Her work's amazing. And Dave, would you like to tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, I suppose. Do anybody else get like high school flashbacks? Like kind of what Mara said, and you're like, hey, please stand up and tell us about yourself. And you're like, my name's Dave, and I like long walks on the beach, and I hate this class, and that's all I got. Like that's kind of the, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but no, I'm Dave. I'm also an ISTP. And funny enough, also really into music. I have this handpan thing, 2 of them. That's handpan junior, and that's the big handpan.
Is he allowed to play that during the stream?
What's that?
I'm asking Joyce if you're allowed to play them while we're doing this.
Oh,
sure.
Thank you a lot to hear me play. I've only had these things for a little while. I'm really, really bad. And I'm nervous to be on stream. So actually it might be really funny to hear me play them. So maybe it is a good idea.
You can do as you please. I would be very entertained to hear you play, actually.
Okay, well, that's nice. We'll see. We'll see how I feel.
Maybe as outro.
As an outro, yeah. I'll play us out. How about that?
No, but Joyce has this awesome outro song that what's his name made?
Nick Stride.
Nick Stride.
Yeah.
Cool. I really like it.
Maybe for today's episode, we can have Dave playing and Binyamin too.
Yeah.
And you guys can show off your musical prowess.
We could jam out together, have a jam session. Klaus can bang on the desk or something, and be good.
Maybe Klaus play something. Who knows?
He probably doesn't have it, I wouldn't think. But
I played piano for many years when I was younger, so.
See?
But there's no piano here in my Airbnb, so.
Really? What kind of Airbnbs do you stay in, bro? You don't have a piano? Like, what? It's a discount one. Anyway, sorry, I'm throwing us off track. Yeah, that's me, Dave. I like handpans, and that's really all there is to my personality. So.
And he has a YouTube channel too. So.
Oh yeah, I have that too, and there's some videos on there too. Yeah, check it out.
Is that midnight gospel show behind you? Those pictures?
No, but it totally looks like it, right? Do you like that show, by the way? I think it shows.
Oh, okay.
So guys, you learned something from this stream already. ISTPs feel awkward promoting themselves, so they just don't do it.
It is weird. I don't know why.
Yeah, we just make it weird. Yeah.
Cool. And so my first question for you guys is, what are real or fictional ISTPs that you relate to?
I don't really relate to that many of them because I feel like they're usually like very, or at least like fictional ones are always like very the exaggerated form of the ISTP, you know? And it's like, I'm not that cool, you know? Like, what are some examples? Like Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid, total ISTP, total badass. Like and Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop. And those are like characters that I thought were super cool growing up, but like I can't like relate to them. Like I'm not like, you know, some army badass or whatever. As far as like real people, well, I have two type twins. I have John Jones and what's the guy that fixes stuff and has a show? Micro, that guy. I don't really relate to either of those guys. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so there's not much relation, but I get them and I do respect them, but it's not much more than that, I think.
Awesome. You mentioned Cowboy Bebop. So Mara actually types anime characters. And I was wondering, what ISTPs have you typed in anime, Mara? I'm so sorry for putting you on the spot.
Boy, let's see. There was like Zoro for One Piece. My brain trying to pull these off the top of my head. Yeah, I'm totally blanking. There was a couple from Naruto.
I'm
Was
sure
Kakashi an ISTP?
Say what?
Was Kakashi an ISTP?
No, I made him an INTP.
Oh,
I switched to like people typically argue between Shikamaru and Kakashi, and I switched them.
Oh, you don't have Shikamaru as an INTP?
I'm an
I was thinking
ISTP.
it was like TINI or something like that. Kind of, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, I've also typed Shikamaru as a ISTP too.
Are you
No one
gonna-
agrees
Okay.
with me, but
Well, I'm not
I
really
think so
with
too.
Yeah.
What this is,
Yeah.
Joyce, because people need to see what this is, because no idea. What is that?
Oh, for sure. So Naruto is. Oh yeah,
Oh,
we'll
it's
just
Naruto.
flash it on
Okay,
the
yeah,
screen.
Naruto. There we
Yeah.
go. Good.
Okay. Yeah, great. That's going to be cool. Okay.
Awesome. And I'll come back to you, Mara, with that. So yes, Binyamin, what are some ISTPs that you relate to or admire?
So like in a true ISTP fashion, like this is just so conceited and egotistical, but it's like myself, right? Like that's exactly what, like, I'm just going to be honest. Like that's the honest answer that you think about right away. But like growing up, like I don't know if he's ISTP or not, but I always really related to Willow from Willow. I don't know, the George Lucas film. He's like this little person. But yeah, I always related to him. He's like a little person, but like one of the smallest little people in his little person tribe even. And just getting by on his intelligence rather than on, and he's not even really skilled or really good with anything. He fails a lot too, but I mean, that's just, he succeeds in the end just by, I don't know, just by being an ISTP. So I relate to him a little bit when I was younger.
Very cool. How about you, Klaus?
When I read the question, I can't think of anyone except me, of course. But
Yeah.
It's also, I think it links to, in Myers-Briggs land, there's like this stereotype of ISTPs being the mechanics, and I have no clue how cars work, for example. And yeah, I think a lot of that is linked to Myers-Briggs not seeing that there's different types of ISTPs. I can think of one, though, that has a similar demeanor to me. So James Comey is my exact type twin, and I watched long interviews with him. And although I could never like become an FBI director, too much EJ responsibilities, I think in the interview, his demeanor was quite similar to me, like calm and relaxed. And yeah, so I can see that, not necessarily what he's doing, but the way he acts and the way he talks, I think was a bit similar to me. So it was nice to see someone that I could at least relate to a bit. But of course, as an IP, I'm special, so no one is like me, and thus I can't think of anyone.
Exactly. Yeah.
Is that your only type twin?
Sorry?
Is that your only type twin?
James Comey, yes.
Is that the only one? Okay. I was just wondering.
No,
If I
there
could
were a
just
few
jump in,
others
though.
that I couldn't relate to, like
Okay.
car mechanics, and there was one guy who has a YouTube channel, I think, who does mechanical stuff, and
Okay.
I was like, okay, boring.
Yeah, I would say the mechanic isn't the best name for the ISTP. Some of them fit it, but most don't. And I would say I'm not sure if it comes from MBTI. It might come from the community within it. But I think so with the MBTI, it gets conflated a lot with a lot of online sources. And what happens is people conflate the 16 personalities to MBTI. So, but the official MBTI is way more credible than people give it credit for. It's just that they mix it with the online community stuff, which is not credible at all. And so, yeah, the mechanic is a bad name for ISTPs. So given that, what name is a good name for ISTPs? If you had to rename the type, what would you name it?
That's a great question.
I would say even an engineer is closer. I still don't think that quite fits, but I would say an engineer would be closer because I feel like ISTPs are a little more abstract than just being like a car mechanic or something like that. Yeah, that's my first vote.
Maybe thinker, because I just thought I have to think about the question more. Can I come back to you tomorrow with a good answer? I don't know, but it's not really a good nickname because thinker, lots of people and types can be thinkers, but
Yeah,
it's hard to peg a type with a nickname because each type is so diverse as to what it does.
or even archetype. Yeah, archetypes.
Yeah.
I wanted to jump in a little bit on the just ISTPs that I relate to. The reason why it's hard to relate to us is because we're just so cringy. Like whenever I see another ISTP, it's really cringe. I don't know if he's an ISTP or not, but I was I started trying to watch this show with Zac Efron, and I think he's an ISTP, and it was just so cringy the way he behaves. I just couldn't stand it. I had to turn it off. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, same with me with John Jones. When I watch him, I'm like, ugh, John Jones. Even though he's my type twin, I'm like,
right, yeah.
I see what you're doing there, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel cringy often?
I think it's just a very bad FE, and we don't realize how bad our FE is, but when we see it in someone else, it's just
I'll be right back, guys.
Do I do that? Do I behave like that?
I'm having the hardest time with the fact I can see myself on the screen. I'm just like, ah.
Well, I love ISTPs. They are my favorite type. So for every cringe you have towards them, I have a heart towards them. So, but yes.
Right.
So for anyone in the audience, if you have a name for the ISTP type, just comment below what you think the ISTP should be called, and maybe the ISTPs in this chat will go no, yes, to
We'll
see which one is
all
the best.
ISTPs will disagree. That's just what we do. No,
Probably true.
It's worth a shot. It'll be hilarious though. Yeah. So I'm wondering, Mara, do you have any more examples of anime ISTPs? It's okay if you don't.
So anime, there was Aizawa from My Hero Academia, and I was pulling up on my list and we typed Killua from Hunter x Hunter as an ISTP, which that one's pretty debated.
Yes, I typed him as an ISTP too, actually. Yeah, so yeah. We actually type similarly. Yeah.
People like to assume only NTs can be strategic.
He's Kilo is very tactical with how he helps Gon. Yeah.
Yep.
Very SP.
But no, one that I'm not typically looking to relate to people, so I don't typically relate to people very often. And Dave was saying, they're all very, very exaggerated in fiction. But there was this one anime, it's new, It Invaded. I don't know if you've heard of that one, it's new. And that main protagonist is probably an ISTP, which I bet you anything people will debate. But he, I related to him quite a bit, but he was showing the way his mind worked. And the whole show, I can tell the show was probably written by some TI lead. Because the moment the show started, I was like, I'm going to like this. It was just... so I tend to relate to him.
Cool. Thank you for your great answers, ISTPs. And so my next question for you guys is, what makes you feel energized and alive?
So it's going to sound really stereotypical, but like physical, like chaos. It's like a big thing for me, or anything that's physically challenging and there's like a game involved. Like it could be like ping pong. It could be, obstacle course, which we talked about quite in detail before. Also thunderstorms, like really crazy thunderstorms. Like for some reason, I really like those. Or sometimes when the plane has turbulence, like that's like kind of fun sometimes, and like that. I don't know what that says about me exactly. Or like when I was a kid, I liked the tornado sirens when they would go off. I don't know. So like those like physical danger is like, or deep physical interaction, I think. When there's some sort of either danger or some sort of game involved, there's something where I also have to think too, I think. Also, actually, blasting can be really like, I don't know, because like blasting, or for the MBTI folks, blasting is like teaching, putting information out there, talking, all that stuff is like, gives me a lot of anxiety usually. But like while I'm doing it, it's actually kind of like thrilling. And then afterwards, like I feel really great. So like for me, blasting makes me really feel alive. I DJ too sometimes, and that's always really fun. I think that also has to do with stuff being physically sort of challenging, and also like engaging your mind, engaging your TI a lot at the same time when you're doing something physical. Yeah, I would say those are the big ones.
Cool. Anyone else?
Yeah, there were a lot of things that I could relate to. When you said, well, not ping pong, I hate the word, but I'm playing table tennis since age 7.
Is there a difference between the two things, or is that just a bad nickname?
No, it's just, ping pong is more for amateurs, and table tennis is the correct name for the proper sport. Not that I'm not a professional, but I'm playing for 25 years now, and I love it. Like when I can immerse myself in the present moment doing that, and it's like a reaction sport. You have to be in the moment, and I become a different person. When I told my table tennis teammates that I'm an introvert, they started laughing, because in the match, I'm the most like, I'm pushing myself and I go, come on. And I'm this probably of all the 20, or how many players, 30 maybe, I'm probably the second most aggravated during matches. Sometimes I break records when I'm angry and I become a totally different person. But that energizes me a lot. So, and when you mentioned ping pong, I immediately thought, yes, table tennis. And blasting is also like, when I'm competent in something, I can go on and on and on. But it feels like it has to be something that I deeply care about. So either it has to be something I'm really competent in, or I can just talk about myself. I can go on for quite a long time sharing from that DI place, I think, as long as I don't have to actively teach. It's more like communicating my knowledge and not really teaching. It's more like driven from sourcing out everything that is in here. But as soon as there's a goal, then I struggle. Like if it has to be structured and detail oriented, then it can become a bit harder to do.
So I tend to, problem solving will energize me. I worked this job in system administration for like 5 years. And typically when there was like a tragedy in the eyes of everyone else, like there was something going on, I had to fix it right now, I would get energized, like going through trying to like troubleshoot, figure out what was going on and get through that. And that usually kind of, even though it was also stressful at the same time.
Very cool.
I didn't answer yet, so I'll answer. What always really energized me was like math tests or like any kind of physics test or things like this. I just really liked, like I hated school. I hated it, but like the testing, I love that. Like that was where I shined. And like, I remember like there were some courses in university where like I just didn't show up to class, didn't do any of the assignments, and then I would show up to the final exam, and it's like this open book final exam. And I would just be learning the entire course. I think one of the ones was like thermodynamics or whatever. So I just have this textbook beside me and just try to get the test done. I was really energized there. So like stuff like that energizes me. I think programming also does that. Get really energized when I'm programming. A good discussion, good conversation, like that's challenging, riddles, problem solving as well. Yeah, stuff like that. And then what Dave said, like anytime there's like a physical threat to me or a threat or some kind of danger going on, that definitely gets your blood going, like your adrenaline going. But I mean, I think that's everybody. I don't think that's just ISTPs.
Yeah, wow. It's really interesting to hear all your answers to these questions. So I'm seeing a few trends here. So it seems like, troubleshooting, problem solving, doing things last minute is kind of energizing. Also, like the act of, you guys mentioned, so like talking. So like the thing is, like sometimes introverts can feel so quiet sometimes that when they when they actually get the chance to talk, sometimes it feels like better. You're like, oh wow, I talked, I did a thing. And then you can like, it can feel energizing because it's like you got yourself to get out of your comfort zone. And sometimes our comfort zone can make us feel stale when we don't realize it. So when we talk, it's like, wow, cool, it's like a pat on your own back. I don't know, but it seems really cool. Yeah. So troubleshooting, I wonder if it's like a TI DOM type of energizing thing, because Spacey, my friend, he's an INTP. He calls himself a existential troubleshooter because he's an INTP, so he like troubleshoots like these vague esoteric problems. But it seems like TI DOMs really resonate with like troubleshooting or in some sort, because it's like problem solving on the spot. And something like maybe TI is good at is like on the spot, like thinking and logicking it out. So that might be energizing. And it seems like, Dave and Klaus talked about like the SE side of ISTP energizingness. And it's like ping pong and doing like these kind of like physically testing things. So that's really cool too. Yeah, that was a mouthful. But yeah. And so that brings me
on some of that if you want.
For sure. Yes.
Yeah. So first thing is like I don't think troubleshooting is the right word. I don't want to be nitpicky on the word itself. But like troubleshooting is annoying for me. I don't like if something's going wrong on the computer and I got to solve it. I don't feel alive. I just feel like what the hell? So yeah, I think it's more like the problem solving aspect, like something that's a challenge and that
I think for ISTPs, it's like constantly seeking like what the truth is. Like it's just a carrot. Like you can imagine like a carrot on a stick in front of us, and we're just like running after it, and it's like truth. And it's like, oh, if I figure this out, then I'll understand something more, which will lead me to understand this, which will lead me. It's like you're constantly trying to find how everything works and not even how everything works specifically. At least for me, I feel like I'm trying to find something more fundamental or something more abstract. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to find that TI and I goodness that just explains everything to me. You know what I mean? And you're just constantly trying to get that information because it's just, I guess that for whatever reason, our reward system's connected to that. And just, you feel really good when you figure something out. Oh, I get it now. Like, oh, this makes sense now. That makes sense now. Good. I don't know. It feels like a video game when you get like a new level or a new sword or something. I don't know. Like
and that's usually when you want to go, tell everybody about it as well and do the talking. Yeah. And everyone's like, where did you come from?
That's so great. Yeah. I wonder if like problem solving then is like a thinker thing, maybe energizes thinkers, that they get to use like their block banging function. And so interesting. And so my next question for you guys is, what do you bring to the world?
Ooh, this is a tough question for us. I think I can speak
for
everyone.
Tough. You know the answer. It's just you don't want to say it because of that FE. You know the answer. Just say
it. Like, honestly, for me, I feel like not much. I feel like I'm just kind of here, like to be honest.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, like I don't like in the moment. I guess there's something I bring. But I don't know.
Yourself.
I think just acts of kindness in the moment is about all the only thing that I give. I don't have like a way that I want to affect the world. I don't have like a master plan. I don't have like a dharma. I don't have a set of values necessarily. I'm just chilling. That's I don't know if I really bring much.
ISTPs are so humble. Like at the beginning,
that's not me being humble. That's me being honest. Like,
look. Okay, here's my argument that it is humbleness. You forgot to self-promote at the beginning, and now you're like, I bring nothing to the world.
Okay.
I did feel like someone else needs to tell me that, and I'm just not going to think about it otherwise.
Is it like, could it be like the lack of FI too then? It's like you don't know like who you are in the sense of what you bring unless someone else tells you, like someone else tells you how to value yourself, like because you care about like the tribe values. So like it's more impactful if someone tells you what you bring to the world rather than you
That's
telling
probably
mom.
part of it. And then like
I think a big part of it is also,
I'm just kind of here and I'm not really thinking about there, you know?
Yeah. I think it's
Yeah,
also double deciding though to some degree, you know, being
You
able
know,
to see how you affect other people and how they see you and that kind of dynamic. Well, easier to see what you bring to the world then, maybe.
I think it's also the SE as well, because we're really aware of what the world is and what impacts the world and how useless we are.
Yeah, that's true.
I just want to hug every ISTP after this, but I think you guys
Virtual
know
hug. Is there a hug button on the air? There should be. It's the suggestion.
That's adorable. So Klaus, what do you bring to the world?
Yeah, it's a hard question. I don't know myself. Well, when I think of like when you earlier you talked about troubleshooting, and I think that's I think a better word but might be understanding or analyzing things. I think I don't know if it's true for all ISTPs, but I think I'm very good at analyzing things and understanding things and then explaining things that I've seen. And I don't know. Just
Yeah.
making things,
Yeah, JI, like JI, DI, like FI and TI are good at like self-analysis, and it's like constantly thinking, or not like, okay, maybe thinking's not a good way to put it, but I don't know how else to put it. It's like this subjective analysis intensely that DI does. Mara has this cool term called emotional blankness, or like that, like she says, like ISTPs have. So it's like when you ask them a question about themselves and who they are, or like their feelings, they can arrive at this state of emotional blankness because they're not paying attention to their emotions. So sometimes it can be hard to pinpoint their emotions.
We have emotion? What?
Exactly.
I've read about them, but I'm not exactly
Yeah.
sure what that is. You know, it's...
I forgot they existed.
Cool. And so that brings us...
I always have the issue where people will say something, and later when I'm thinking about it, I have to wait. That kind of makes me angry. Why didn't I get angry when that happened? But in the moment, I was just completely like, I saw it, no emotion.
Yeah, and sometimes even when you do get emotion, you don't even realize it until you look at a mirror or something like that. It's like, I don't know, someone would be like, okay, you were really upset today. I'm like, am I? Okay. Yeah.
Great answers, guys. So I was wondering, we talked about what energizes you guys. So I was wondering, what depletes you guys?
For me, it's like just general tension, I would say. Like if I'm rushing through stuff, if I'm overly focused on something in like a very, let's get this over with type of way, if I'm not like taking my time and really digging into something and giving the time it deserves, for me, that's really exhausting. Like if I have just like a checklist of stuff I have to do and I'm just like trying to get it all done, that's really depletes me. I don't know exactly what that is exactly, but that seems to be the biggest thing in my life. I actually have some stuff written down just so I wouldn't have a blank. Oh yeah, I'm sure you can relate to this. Doing something that is completely meaningless. Like I don't care about it. There's no use of me being here. Nobody else cares about it. Like if you're ever in a meeting at work, the meeting has nothing to do with you. There's nothing from you to gain from it. There's no point in you being there, and you have to sit there for 2 hours and just, oh my, like I want to physically strangle somebody or myself. I don't care, like just anything, and I want to get out of there any way that I can. For some reason, doing something that makes no sense or has no purpose is super draining and will kill my energy immediately. Yeah, that's the big one.
Yeah, so cool.
Yeah, putting on a facade of any form, like, and that maps, because if you are amongst people and you have to acting is very hard for me, at least. And like, also, I don't understand how people can lie a lot, because it's exhausting, because you have to map everything out and understand where you said something that wasn't true. And so putting on an act or something is very difficult for me, and trouble is a big word, but in jobs, it's hard for me to pretend or to not see incongruencies. Like when my boss treated me differently than he wanted to be treated by me, I had to speak up. And that was a bit awkward because, I don't want to tell the whole story now because I don't know, too much attention. But it's hard to put on an act, and that can be energy draining. And for me also, all kinds of noise that I can't escape from. If I choose to listen to loud music, that's fine. But if I'm I have strangled a few babies in my mind that were close to me.
Your reaction is perfect.
But it's only happening in my mind. It's noise that I can't get away from. That's so energy depleting that,
So does anything else make you guys want to strangle babies?
Besides a
Probably
baby
anything
itself? Or...
really monotonous.
Yeah.
An emotional drama that I actually am involved in. If I'm just watching it, it can be entertaining. But if I'm actually involved in it, then it's very draining. It's please go away now and leave me alone to my emotional calmness.
I got a few things. Try to remember them. So let's say you're figuring out a problem or something, and people don't want to really listen to you, or they dismiss the best solution for the problem, or they don't want to work on it in the right way, to get to an actual solution. They just want, that kind of stuff is just really draining. It's dealing with the people and thinking with them, doing the TE with them when they're not, I don't know, they're not synergizing with you. That's just really draining. Another thing that's really draining, I think, is when the hammer falls on you, the control comes at you, I don't know, you get pulled over by a cop for speeding or stuff like that, or you get in trouble at school or stuff like that. It's it's not fun. Don't like that. I'm trying to think of something else. What Dave said was really true about how just doing meaningless things that it's just a waste of time, not only for you but for everybody. Or I think it also goes down to just doing things the worst possible way and knowing that there's a better way, but just being forced to go down this bad way just because that's what everyone is doing. That's just really annoying because it's guys, there's a better way. Let's not do this, but no one cares. I don't know. Some people just want to stumble on themselves and want to just fail, even though it's so obvious what they're doing, and you can't do anything to stop it. So I don't know. That's what I got.
When the hammer does fall from authority, how does that feel usually? For me, it's soul crushing. Oh God, no. What have I done? I almost freak out. It's at work, if the boss calls me out for something, oh no. It's, or if I get pulled over and it's oh, and I don't know what it was for or whatever. To me, I just I don't know what that is, or if that's just something separate from being an ISTP or some sort of trauma related thing or whatever. But for me, that's tough. Is it similar for you or?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
In that one job, the system administration job that I worked at, our system administrators are always blamed for everything. So I was used to having people walk in and blame me, and my boss blame me. Everything, you did this wrong. No, I didn't, but okay. But I used to walk in his office and argue with him constantly. We are doing this wrong. This is bandages on bandages on bandages. It's gonna break it soon enough anyway if we keep doing it this way. But
is that tough being in a job where people are blaming you and stuff a lot, or do you just
you get used to it after a while?
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so I did get used to it, but it was I think it can take a certain personality to Because I worked with someone who would really stress out constantly because of it. Whereas like people would walk into me and I just look at them, and depending on who they were, they would look, oh, and walk away. It's like, no, we're not doing this right now. Like, because really, it's like everyone thinks that their problem is the most important problem for you to solve right now.
It's like the only one.
Yes, you can't access your email, but nobody else can. So go away and let me fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite terrifying when that happens. And like it's hard to explain to them like how it's like not your fault too. So you're stuck with them blaming you and you can't really justify yourself. So then
it's really easy to explain yourself, just no one cares.
Well, yeah, in my case, I didn't want to sit there and say, well, it's his fault. Because I knew whose fault it was. I could trace it back. I knew it was something the boss made me do that was a really stupid thing to do, and it inevitably caused the thing that I knew it would cause, but I didn't want to sit there and go, it's his fault.
That's true. Yeah.
And people don't want to listen to it because like it's a logical structure too, and it sounds like you're lying, I guess, because it's just so complicated. And they're just like, they don't believe you. So it's like a waste of time just to even try to explain it to them.
Yeah, totally.
That's a good point. Yeah. Did you get in trouble for that as a kid too? When I would try to explain why I did something to my parents, they'd be like, the hell are you talking about? Like, no, it makes sense. No, listen. So first I was going to get a pizza, right? And then I thought, okay, I only have $10, so I can't buy a pizza with $10. So I thought I would get some money somewhere else. And then you give them like 30 steps. It takes you 40 minutes. And then like, just go to your room. You're in trouble. It's like, but I explained it. And you had to learn to like dumb down your TI and just give like just the highlights. Oh yeah, sorry, I borrowed some money. I'll give you it back later. Yeah.
So on the topic of justifying yourself, what brings you stress?
Deadlines, like time, like it has to be done at this time. For some of that awareness of time always like stresses me out, and I always feel like time is running faster than what it is. So I feel like you have 30 minutes to do this. That feels like I have 1 minute to do it, even though I have 30 minutes. But it doesn't feel like that's a long time. So that's my biggest stressor is time, I would say.
Yeah, too much to do, like a whole stack of things to do. When stuff starts falling apart, like you got the laundry, you got your kids, you got your job, you got your friend you got to call, you got some person that's having a crisis. Like it's just when stuff starts piling up, then yeah. But I think that's everybody. Also, I would also say like if someone's mad at you and you don't know why, that's kind of stressful.
Oh yeah, totally. Or like when they give you the text message like we need to talk. Oh God.
No. Yeah, the boss calls you into his office and you don't know why, and then you get there, he's like, "You're doing a good job."
So, how do you guys deal with over-emotional people or people forcing an emotional response from you?
I give them it, I hug them. I don't think it's that. I know like ISTPs aren't supposed to do that, but I don't think it's too. It depends. If the emotions are directed at you, then it's different. Like if it's anger or if it's whatever, or if you did something, then I'm like, I just say I'm sorry a bunch and then hope that works. But in most cases, yeah, I think we can emote with like we still can FE, even though we don't make that the basis of our lives. We still have access to that. So yeah, I try to emote back if someone's sad. I try to be sad with them. If someone needs some sort of emotional support, I try to listen to them and understand what they're saying and try to be there with them. And
Yeah.
I think Klaus is.
I don't even know if
he talked about emotions and
that was last question. Oh, there we go. Klaus, you left. You didn't want to talk about emotions, I guess. That's what Dave said.
What do you do when somebody's acting very emotional around you, or like, as in general, very emotional? How do you deal with that situation?
It depends. It freaks me out that I can't properly hear you.
I can type it. Does that work?
Oh, yeah, tech issues.
Yeah, now this is the troubleshooting part.
There's not much you can do. I mean, he can't like change his internet unless he wants to go off your phone, I guess, if that's any better, but probably not. No, that would eat up your data like super quick, right? Oh, there you go.
I guess while Klaus is gone, maybe we can head for this question. How do you guys differentiate FI from TI? Because these can look very similar because they're self functions. So I was wondering how you guys tell them apart.
Yeah, it's a tough one. You have to see where your motivation's at, which is a tough thing to kind of look at, I think, because your motivation or whatever is motivating you is something that's happening all the time, so it's hard to see. But I think you have to look at like what's the basis for what you're doing. Like, you know, for a TI user, it's usually figuring stuff out. That's what's going on in my head all day. How does this work? How does this work? It's always like trying to put together some kind of puzzle, I guess. You know what I mean? And so for an FI person, maybe they're, you know, overly aware of what they like, they're overly aware of what they value, and that's kind of leading their life. And it's like, I like the ice cream example on that one shave video. Like, FI people just want to get as much ice cream as they can, and they need the TE users to help them get as much ice cream as they can. But their life is about the ice cream, not about figuring out how ice cream works, you know? So I don't know. It's tough though.
Yeah, it's really dumbing down the thing too, but yeah.
I try.
Yeah. No, yeah, on the right way. But I think motivation is a big thing too, because like if someone asks you like, where do you want to eat or what do you want to do? And usually my answer is I don't care. So that's just no FI because I really don't care. I think another thing to look at is what are your priorities? If you want to ask yourself and for me, that's just like a foreign question. What do you mean priorities? What does that even mean? I don't have priorities. I have stuff I need to do or I should be doing, and then I do them. And yeah. Another good one is like, okay, so this is something that I've seen ESTPs are better at because they don't have any FI, like it's completely polar, is like those cart questions, right? Where like, would you push someone in front of the train in order to save everyone in the train, right? And like, they're just like, yeah, ESTPs, no problem. Because the FI is not there at all. But for us, it's like, I don't know. Like, not that specific question because we've probably figured it out already, but like you have to PI through it. You know what I mean? And then that's another thing. What I just did there where like I'm making myself more specific and I'm correcting myself all the time when I'm talking. Yeah. Like that's something that TIs do. It's just, you'll never see anyone else do that.
Yeah, Shannon laughs at me whenever I do that if we're on a call and I'll start like correcting myself and start like, wait, that doesn't make sense, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, Dave, you just had an interview the other day where you just like, it was a good 30 seconds where you're like, but like, and then, and maybe, and like, I saw you going back and forth in your head and you were saying it out loud. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah. Mara, one of the ways she defines TI is like they compare their own thoughts to their own thoughts. So you're like one of the thoughts in your head, you're comparing it to another thought in your head, to another thought in your head. You're like, well, this, and then that thought. And then you're trying to find congruency within them through that.
Yeah, the TIs are always doing a lot of this. Maybe, probably, well, and then you watch them kind of circle and backtrack, and then, you know, whereas like the FIs, I don't see them do that. They tend to see more straightforward. This is this, like that kind of with that TI in the back. This is this, and I think this.
Yeah, that's true.
That's really cool. Yeah, and Binyamin, you had an interview with Jonathan, and I saw it, and you guys introed, and basically you guys talked about how TI users, they care, like they're less likely to care if you don't say their name correctly, because like it's kind of like you guys aren't overly attached to your name or something. I remember watching that interview and like it was an interesting thought.
Yeah, it could just be an anecdote. I have no idea. That's not.
Is
that's
it
not like
okay? So that's a great question. Is it Binyamin or Binyamin?
I don't care.
What do your parents call you? I'm not asking what you want me to call you. I'm asking like how it's supposed to be said.
Well, like if you want to say it in English, just call me Benjamin. You know, that's fine.
Okay.
That's a total butchering of your
answer, though.
Well, as long as it doesn't bother you that I can just say it however, then I guess I'll just say it.
Yeah, for me personally, but people that know me, it bothers them. Like they don't like certain ways of pronouncing my name. Everyone is possessive of my name in some way.
That's except you. That's so funny.
Yeah, I don't get it. Yeah.
It's the same with my last name. It gets mispronounced a lot, and they're like, "Well, how do you pronounce it?" Well, there's a couple different ways you pronounce it. Which one do you want me to use? Like, I don't care. Like, it's a name. Who gives a shit? So I think I can
name publicized of all people. Like,
yeah, of all people. It's easy, right?
Yeah, like there's no FI attachment to that personal name identity, so it's easier to go like whatever.
Yeah, as long as I understand that you're talking to me, it doesn't really matter. You can call me whatever.
But on the other hand, like a really derogatory nickname, I don't like that. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah. But when there's like no malicious intent or like
Yeah.
you know that, it's like it's okay. Like no FE, like them spiting you in any way. It's fine.
Yeah. Don't mispronounce it on purpose to be a jerk. That will trigger me.
That's true.
Yeah.
And so Mara, I was wondering how you would differentiate TI and FI.
Well, there's some of the stuff already said, and then usually like the FIs, they know a lot quicker what they're feeling, and they're usually expecting you to know what you're feeling. Usually, yeah, they're a lot more. They tend to be a lot more expressive of who they are. This is who I am, and that will show up like with the ISTPs. That'll show up a lot in the way they dress.
Yes.
I've noticed in like the little things that they'll do in their appearance and stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. For my ISFP episode with Sheila, she went fully dressed as Marilyn Monroe, and I was like, that's so FI to like creatively express yourself. FI takes its identity so seriously that it likes to like show it in the way that it dresses sometimes. So, you know, I know some FI users, like they like sunflower cat ears or like the flower on their shirt or like really bold clothing because it expresses their FI identity.
Do you guys have any tattoos? Do you guys have any tattoos or anything like that? No, me neither. Yeah.
I like tattoos, but I can't decide on what I would want, so I just don't get one. Same problem usually people have with getting tattoos, right? No one knows what they want, and it's there forever.
You don't have FI, so you don't know what you want. That makes sense.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I don't know what I like.
I'm sure some people know exactly what they want. Yeah.
So, Mara, do you have any other points?
Off the top of my head, I'm not really sure. I think the FIs, because they have that TE back there, they tend to be a little bit more like looking for that authoritative source, and you kind of do see that. They'll point back to this thing that is the authority as a backing for what they're saying.
Yeah.
Whereas the TIs tend to be more like, why do I care about that? That could be wrong.
Yeah, the authority is truth. Like, there's no better authority than truth. So if it's true, I don't care what anyone else says. It's a really good point.
Yeah, and the truth is the TI user's framework, which is it's like it's like consulting with the congruency inside oneself. I liked Binyamin when you called the FI and TI like the ultimate authority to either like what is truth or what they feel or who they are. So it's like there's a parallel between the JI functions. And Klaus, are you back?
Yes, I can hear you. And Mara,
Good. Okay.
Can you say something?
Something.
Can you hear me?
You're so cheeky, Dave.
I can hear everyone now.
Cool. Mm-hmm.
Cool. We're back together again as a family.
Our group, yeah. Thank you, amigos.
Yeah,
we're back. And so I'm wondering, what is an ideal day for all of you?
A day where I don't like have to do anything. I can just do what I want. Like that's usually ideal. In the moment, the ideal day or the day I would want the most, I think, is probably to hang out with my friends back in the US, or even my friends back in the last city I was in, Düsseldorf. And yeah, that would be ideal right now, I think.
My ideal day starts with sleeping in until noon, probably. And then, yeah, similar to what Dave said, just having the freedom to improvise and just doing what I like doing spontaneously and living into the day.
Great.
Go ahead, Mara.
Nah, nothing too specific. Just be able to do whatever I want to do without any like set schedule.
Yeah. I mean, like, these are great answers, but what would you want to do, you know? Like, what kind of things would you want to do? I think that's what we're more aiming at in the question, you know? Like, because
This is like-
That can
that's
vary
just
by
like the
the
obvious
day.
answer. Like, what would your ideal day be? Everyone wants to do what they want to do, but what do we want to do? That's what differentiates us, I think. So like, pick like your top 3 ideal days or something.
Is this like NI vague? It's like it doesn't have an SI specific example, so you're like,
Exactly.
whatever. And I'm like, where's the SI? Like, I need
we're just giving the NI. It's whatever we want to do. Right.
So top 3 friends, music festival. Wait, now you can see my fingers. Or traveling to some place I've never been before. That's really different.
It's okay.
Than
we know what 3 fingers look like, Dave.
Thank you for your fingers.
Oh wait, yeah. Okay. All right, you do it this way in the US.
Yeah.
Or you could do 4 to symbolize the
You're
functions like Dave does.
Oh yeah, he does it's and then I really like that actually. I was like, that's such a
The
genius.
diagram with your hand, yeah.
And
Yeah,
then you got
show all the TE
this
with
is your
fingers.
this is your blast and your consume there. Yeah. Anyway, I'll stop. Yeah, I like
This is your dominant, this is your inferior.
It's like explaining it to a child.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, Binyamin, what is your ideal day?
So yeah, definitely one of my ideal days is, like Klaus said, just sleeping. That's a great day.
Wait, are you gonna give a shit for like saying the answers we did, and then you're gonna give the same answer that we did?
Dude, that's like the person who goes last. That's the benefit, right? You get to feedback on all of your good work. I think a lot of solitude, like thinking about things that I won't need to think about, processing things, like I don't know, thinking about whatever I want to think about. Definitely. Okay, so definitely not consuming is not an ideal day. Like that's something that is just a burden for me. Is like just all the tabs that I have to watch through. I don't want to do it, but then I have to do it all, and I don't want that. Like that's not my ideal day. That's just like normal day stuff. So like ideal day would be getting away from that kind of stuff, like from the burdens that I normally have to do, you know. But yeah.
Exactly.
Do you feel burnt out on your consume ever? Like talking about all those tabs? Like I can relate to that. We're like, I don't really want to watch all this stuff, but I need to because I need to figure this thing out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you only like to like consume relevant stuff? Because I remember talking to Julian, the ISFP, about it too, and he was like, I only like to consume when it's like relevant to some sort of NI or SE thing. I'm surprised, Mara, that you didn't mention anime. I'm like, so you type so many, like hundreds of anime characters, and you don't mention anime characters in your ideal day?
Honestly, sometimes that becomes a drag. But that almost starts to get associated with work sometimes. But yeah, I mean, I will watch TV. I like video games. I like hiking, but that's like an all-day thing. So it's why you have to get into multiple ideal days. I like going on trips. It just, you know.
I guess the question is confusing to me because the things that I like most, I couldn't really combine in one day. So I love doing sports, but I also love watching sports. Then I also love traveling. Then you couldn't combine all these in one day. So I would have to outline a whole week. No,
what if there was a traveling sport?
A traveling sport, like
where you can watch other sports on the way.
What?
Wait, they already have that, right? Or like you could jet ski to the new place. I mean, you could have a jet ski competition, and you could joust on the jet ski as you're going to like Italy.
But can you watch sports at the same time?
You can have a TV on the jet ski where you watch sports.
Yeah, you could do competitive traveling.
But he likes the table tennis. So.
Oh, you could watch that. You could do it on the jet skis across.
You could do it with your phone and watch something while you're hitting the ball.
Absolutely.
Are you guys suddenly an E or what?
You know, when there's no any users in the room, someone has to do it, or else it's silent, and their FE can't allow it.
Well, what triggered me is that he said you can't possibly do all these things at once, and I'm like, let's figure out a way to do it. We have
or like a challenge.
Yeah, it's a challenge.
I mean, it's possible if you're really rich. It's within reality's constraints. So, it seems like, yeah. So I'm wondering, for you all, how far do you guys think in the future?
Not past today, usually. I have a vague notion of like what's coming up on the weekend, something, but I don't really. Just my whole world is today, and then the next day, and so I keep it pretty focused on what's going on now or what's going on throughout the day. If it's something I'm anxious about or something that needs a lot of attention, I'll kind of ruminate on it throughout the day. But if it's tomorrow, then it's almost like it doesn't exist for me.
I'll have like loose plans sometimes and goals. It just kind of depends. But it's just usually very kind of vague, and that'll come eventually, maybe.
I like to at least go 1 month ahead, and at the moment that's not really possible because of Corona. So I want to go to another tennis tournament in Italy, but now I can't really plan much more than a week ahead because I don't know if Italy even lets me in, because I'm in Serbia at the moment, which is a country that has more Corona cases again. So yeah, I'm getting a little, not irritated, but I like to have the next 4 weeks of traveling at least sorted out, and at the moment I don't. But normally I like to at least have that. But if you'd ask me what I would like to do in 5 years, I would struggle to come up with something, because yeah, I don't know. It's like I would have missed out on so many opportunities in life if I had like this great master plan in life, and I was focused just on that. I would have missed out on so many things I did that I don't want to do a 5-year plan. So I have a rough outline, but normally it's 1 to 3 months max.
Joyce, what does that sound like to an NI user? What like Klaus just said? Is that like crazy talk or what? Like
Relaxing, probably.
Yeah.
I feel like with Klaus, what he's talking about is like exciting things in the future he's looking up to. So it seems less like a plan. It seems like fun things to do that he wants to fit in. But it's not really like actually planning. It's more like ooh, fun, shiny planning. And so I guess for me, what planning is for me is I feel like a very focused person. And I have a really easy time focusing on one thing or one concept or one theme or like one way that things will go, like the trajectory of things. And what this helps me do is, because I have a very honed in understanding of like the most likely trajectory, it's easy for me to plan linearly because I'm not dividing myself. So it's easier to like either like predict future outcomes or to even like plan something far ahead, because I have this like I'm not divided into multiple directions and I just feel this one direction. But that's a me thing. So how about
do you feel like
you,
it's like do you feel like it's like a master plan that you have? Do you feel like there's like, I mean, you probably have more than one plan, but do you feel like it's all coming together to one like main Joyce and I plan for like your future?
Yeah. I feel like my thoughts, me as a human, my future is very convergent. So it all comes together. Yeah.
Cool.
In a union. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool.
and so like I actually I'm planning on releasing a book this year and a website called Dynamic Archetypes, and it's like very like it's loose as in like I'll let the details fill themselves in. Like I'm not responsible for the details, but I'm responsible for the vision I have for it, and I'm making sure I'm making like steady progress towards that. But yeah, Binyamin, how about you? How far do you look into the future?
So I can interpret this question in a few different ways, because like maybe you can help me narrow this down. So I can tell you all of the different ways maybe I look into the future. So firstly, I look at the heat death of the universe really often because physics. That's like an infinite amount of time into the future. But then there's like a lot of times I look at the implications of my actions and how they'll carry out beyond my death or like throughout time. Like how influential and how impactful is this? Like if this, what I just did here is just going to last, like the echoes of it will only last for one day, then I'll know it. And if I see like the echoes and the implications will last like 100 years, and then that's where I'll be looking, like that sort of thing. Another, I've thought about how, like what I beyond my death a lot. 100,000 years into the future a lot. So there's that scale, and then there's another scale where it's like my own life. So yeah, I've thought about how I want to die, or the situation I want to die in. I've thought about, you know, I have plans. I have like an album I'm working on, and yeah, a lot of it is figuring out how you get there. And like I see getting there as just focusing on the here and the now. So like taking one step at a time, focusing on just the next step, right? So like that's where I see me in the moment, is like, okay, I know everywhere where I want to get. I just need to focus now on the next step. I need to focus on that next step and sort of see the implications of that step, and if it's bringing me closer to where I want to be or if it's distancing me, you know? So, yeah.
That's so amazing. You be sure to send me your album link when it comes out, Binyamin.
Well, it might never come out, so we don't know. But
cool. And so, do you guys have any questions you'd like to ask ISTPs?
I was wondering about disagreeability in the what's it called in the Big Five?
Agreeableness.
Yes, and how would you describe yourself as rather disagreeable or agreeable?
I'm really agreeable. I'll argue if something's wrong or if it's false, but if someone wants to do something, I agreeable. No, like I think it's just, from the NOP terms, it's that feminine FE. It's just pushoverness, I guess.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what the playing field is. Like if it's if there's somebody we're discussing something and it's kind of that area where we can kind of say, well, what about this? This doesn't make sense. And like I feel like we're allowed to do that and it won't be taken personally, then I'm not very agreeable. But if it's something I don't care about, or something that's, I have to think of, I guess, a specific scenario. I guess I agree with most stuff just because I don't want conflict. But if it's something that I care about, and it's we're in like an arena where we're supposed to kind of disagree with each other, then I'll disagree. If that makes sense.
I'm generally agreeable unless there's a problem. So I was kind of talking about at work before. So I'm usually agreeable, but.
I like how not blasty we are. There's just
most of this is empty space.
I should have at least said like, thanks for answering or something. No, but I didn't have anything to say, so I just nodded and thought, okay, let's see what happens next. Thanks for answering.
no problem.
Lovely answers. Yeah, like I find ITPs, like they're agreeable in the sense that like the FE's still there and like they care, so they'll have that agreeableness. But they're also like they can also be disagreeable sometimes too, like when they say a harsh truth by accident and then they see other people's reactions to it, which is not as like either like shocked or offended, and they're like, oh no, shouldn't have said that. So it's like accidental disagreeableness too sometimes.
Yeah, something's wrong, we'll disagree.
That's true.
Yeah.
And it's also an inner versus outer. So I test very high on disagreeableness, and I was wondering, people wouldn't describe me like that, but that's this feminine FE outside. But if you want me to do something that I really don't want to do, there's no way I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
It's like I love that Bartleby quote. I would prefer not to, which is kind of my mindset in life. Unless I really want to do something, I would prefer not to do it. So if you want to try make me do something I really don't want to do, you won't have any chance for me to do that.
Yeah, once I've seen something is true, it's really hard to go against that. So.
Yeah, like it took work to get there, and you're not gonna just give that up. Yeah.
If someone tries to bring back lobotomies, for example, I would say no. Don't agree.
We've been over this, dude. It doesn't.
We already figured out this is false. Let's not do lobotomy. I'm not agreeing. Yeah.
Cool.
So what is a harsh truth that you would want to protect people from then? So, you know, like the lobotomies case, like, do you guys have anything like that you would actually tell someone if it were harmful to them? Like, what specific topic would you tell your TI truth about?
It kind of depends. Like, so I guess it depends on what people want to hear is what truth I'll give them. But in general, I don't just shield people from a certain one. There's not like a specific one I just won't tell anyone. It just depends on who I'm talking to. I don't know. Did that answer your question, or am I answering a different question with that?
You guys can answer either not answer the questions. Like the point of them is to just draw information from you, so okay. You can answer it however you want.
If someone asks me a question, I will be honest. So that it'll come out. If they ask me a question, I'm going to answer the question with the harsh truth, I guess. But I mean, otherwise, I mostly just leave people alone unless what they're doing is going to affect someone else, and then I'll kind of speak up. But I'm not just going to blast my opinion everywhere.
Sorry, go ahead. I was thinking the times where I would speak my truth the most is if someone were like accusing me of something that is just wrong or false, and they don't even have a basis to accuse you of that. That's when I would just go all in and be like, why would you even accuse someone of that without evidence? What do you like, I guess they do it to like fish you out to see if it's true or not or whatever, but like it's like, I don't know, it's like attacking you or your intentions or things like that. Like if people say this is your intention, I will like straight out say you're wrong. Yeah.
For me, there's also a spectrum of the closer I am to a person, the more the person gets to see my full TI.
Right.
Like the more honest, the closer I feel to a person, the more honest I am. And I guess it goes both ways. So I have to feel safe to actually do that. And that
if you know it's going to be received properly.
Yes. Yeah.
That's very true. Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for sharing. So it seems like when Binyamin was talking about like I'll correct them if it's like false or untrue, it reminded me of what Mara said earlier about her boss, and it's like, you know, if you're gonna accuse me of doing something I didn't do, then that is when I will correct you and yell at you. But it's like I'm only going to present it if there's a reason to present it, normally, because it's like it's a personal truth. It's not like you are meaning to share it willy-nilly, but like when there's a pointed like reason, maybe you will.
Yeah, like it's because like our reasons aren't simple for doing things. Like they're not as simple as some people might think. And if someone assumes, oh, you did that because you hate them, it's like, no, don't put that on me. That's FI. That's not me. Don't do that. Like, I'll tell you exactly why I did that. All of the steps, all of the reasons, back to my childhood. No problem.
And also double standards. Maybe I have to talk about my former boss again. Because, so he was criticizing me for answering emails angrily back to him that he sent. So he was criticizing me and CCing all the other managers in. And that made me very angry, so I wrote an angry email back, and he said, you can always come to my office but don't write angry emails. And then I told him, well, that's what you did to me. So, and so if I will hold you to the same standards that you hold me to, even if you are my boss. I don't care, we can quarrel over it until we realize that I'm correct.
Feisty, y'all are. Great. Any other questions you'd like to ask each other? Any closing thoughts?
How about you, Joyce? Do you have any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for coming on. It was really nice to see inside the mind of the ISTP. I find it like cute how you guys like talk about your thoughts, like maybe this or could be that. Yeah, and you guys compare your own thoughts to your own thoughts. Like I find it like very fascinating to see like how you guys think, because it shows just how much thought you put into refining your thoughts, and I really do appreciate that. And you guys are really laid back and chill. Like when you guys were answering like what makes you feel alive, you're like, doing whatever. I was like, yeah, you guys are chill people. I love it. Like it was just really like interesting to see how you guys go about things. I found it fascinating when you guys were talking about like how you guys don't mind if someone mispronounces your name, because it's like your identity isn't really tied to that. So as long as they didn't mean it in like a bad way, like you're fine with it. Of course anyone can, it's a human thing too. Like I think that should be the standard, but it's interesting to just kind of like track trends with people and to hear their real life experiences. So like thank you for like bringing yourselves here and bringing your like genuine experiences here and being like silly too. Like I feel like there is like silliness and goofiness throughout the questions, and that's amazing.
It's all Mara. Like, Mara's the silly one here.
Yeah, and so Binyamin and Dave have YouTube channels that you guys should check out. And Mara has a website. It's one of my favorite typology websites, and I believe it's called Practical Typing. And her function articles are like one of the best like I've seen online for free. Like they're free too, guys. It's like a steal almost, because it's so awesome. And if you like anime, like check out her articles too. She types a lot of anime characters, and I actually agree with all the typings I've seen so far. And if I'm wondering, it's because I haven't watched the show yet, but we tend to align like very and so Klaus is a really good friend of mine from Personality Hacker, and we fight a lot, but it's all in good fun.
I
want to see what that fight looks like. It's like a TI battle.
Arguing, or not argue, but in a good faith way. So.
Yeah. Thank you for your ISTP selves. I feel like happier to be around my favorite type. My best friend before, when I was younger, was an ISTP, and like they don't get enough like praise. So I like taking any time that I can to just say that they're my favorite type. Yeah, it's just that you guys are awesome,
And we love you too. INFJs and ISTPs. So
I have a timeline of ISTP like friendships that I've had that I really care about. And Mara, you remind me of one of my ISTP friends in high school. I'm not being SI right now. I'm just letting you guys know about my life because I never talk about myself, and I just thought you guys might want to know. And so, would you guys like to play a musical outro, Binyamin and Dave?
I just want to say, like, when you praise us too much, it feels really awkward because we know that we're standing out, and then that's when the tribe hate comes. So that's why we don't like all of those compliments. It's like you're just inviting tribe hate. That's all.
That ISTP best type video when Shave put that out. So, okay,
right.
Why did you
no.
do
What did you do? We have a lot to live up to now.
I mean, deep down, you also liked it a bit.
What's that?
Deep down, you also liked that a bit, that the praise for ISTPs.
I do. Your volumes are really low right now.
He says deep down, we actually like the praise for ISTPs.
Of course we do. Yeah, we're like, deep down. I already knew that was the best type, but I'm glad I'm seeing in the external too, because even though I don't need validation.
You silly gooses.
Yeah.
Okay, so musical outro. This is a part of my ideal day.
It's so awkward from here.
Crappy Toy Store guitar.
Okay. All right, what do you got? Benjamin? What are you playing?
Let's see. I got my songs here. So.
Okay. I'll just
C club.
Okay.
See, Klaus, you didn't get to go to your event, but you got to hear Binyamin and Dave play songs.
I'm gonna
I
wish
feel
you'd
like
gone to that event after this year, I think.
Maybe I can do a little drum or something. No.
This is in B minor, by the way, B Celtic minor.
Celtic minor?
Yeah.
I don't even know what Celtic minor is. What is that?
Okay, so it's B, C sharp, A, F sharp, and I think E.
B minor, yeah.
It's like B Celtic minor is only for handpans, I think. I haven't seen it on an actual instrument have that.
Oh, dude. You don't have one in like C?
You gave him like
The other
the
one's
hard
in D
level
also.
there.
It's like an Arabic scale, so that also doesn't work. I could just like do the, like this isn't, I mean that's a B note, but it's like not super tonal, so.
I can retune my guitar, I guess.
And then just play.
I got an
like,
idea. You just do the outro, man. Just do that. Go for it.
That's not fun. Okay.
it's okay.
So I don't know any songs on this.
That's amazing.
Okay.
Awesome. Good job. Yeah, I was thinking if I tried to... Are you okay, Joyce? We're good?
Oh,
It's
so
just like,
good.
God, no, Dave, I didn't know you were that awful at that instrument. Holy shit.
That was amazing.
Oh, I'm glad you
So,
liked
yeah,
it.
I was thinking if I was playing along to that, then I would be lagged a little bit behind. Because
True.
when I'm hearing it, and it wouldn't have worked out anyway. So it's
True.
Yeah, I would have been out of sync, but you need like some kind of metronome on this, and that would have.
Yeah.
We need
You
Joyce
like
to provide the
mixing software to.
Yeah, we
Does this
we need
work?
Joyce, yeah, Joyce needs to provide the metronome, and then I can't hear you, and you can't hear me.
She's the metronome, and she's really into it at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe like Binyamin, do you want to do one by yourself too? That way we have both.
Yeah.
I could just send you something, Joyce, if you want. That's probably better.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Send me something. Send me
All right.
something.
Okay. Or Dave, if you send me something too, I can play over it, and it could be together.
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's just pretend
Yes.
like we're doing now, so she got the video, and then we'll give it
Okay.
Just have like a rock song over it. It doesn't even match what we're doing.
I'll just open my mouth as if I'm singing, and then whatever comes out later, we're good.
Oh, that is funny.
Anyway, thanks a lot, Joyce, for putting this together.
Yeah, thank you, Joyce. It was a lot of fun hanging out with you guys. This was a good time.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Thank you for being here.
And nice to meet you, Mara, and great catching up with you, David.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Mara.
Nice to meet you all too.
Yay!
Add
At
us
the
to-
exchange.
I guess you're only on Twitter. Is that where you are at?
She
You
has
talking to
a
me?
Yeah.
Yeah, mostly.
Oh, I don't Twitter, so.
Facebook page too.
Oh, do you? Okay, so yeah, add us to Facebook or whatever.
Loved talking to you guys, and I'll see y'all next week. Bye, y'all.
Great. Bye, guys.
Bye,
Bye,
guys.
Joyce.
Where would you rather go? If my dreams are too slow, where would you rather go? I just wanna know. Where would you rather be? If not becomes yours. Your days won't see you there. Your time is too short. Where would you rather go? Your path is your own. Where would you rather go when you're off and alone? I wish I could follow, but I'm where I'm supposed to be. I wish I could meet you there.